One of the other involvements you had was in Proposition 13 in 1982, which was the second big initiative effort by people who wanted to both save the Stanislaus River and do good things for water policy broadly in the state. Say a little bit about how you got involved and what your engagement in that was.
Well, the prior 78 and 79, I was off in Brazil, so there's this big California River running break in my life. And then I was anxious to get back on the water, and was immediately taking John Holdren and Paul Ehrlich and
Were other prominent biologists, economists,
biologists. Well,
high-level thinkers about
John
the world.
Holdren becomes the Barack Obama's scientific advisor for 8 years. So prominent scientists, and along comes Proposition 13, and it has a important part that was at least set up, or trying to set up water trading as a way of conserving water, that water was less valuable in some places and more valuable in others, and particularly most valuable in the cities and least valuable growing alfalfa or irrigating pastures, which it was being used for at the time. And so a water market would allow people who had rights to water but they were using it very inefficiently to sell their water to people who were willing to pay more for it. And it was a way of better managing California water so that we wouldn't have to build any more dams and maybe could drain New Melones too. And being still one of the few environmental economists in California, at least with river running and environmental credentials, I organized a small group with the help of Phil Levine, who I got down the river, another economist that I met at the University of Chicago and become an economist on the campus.
At UC Berkeley?
On UC Berkeley. And so we started gathering signatures of economists and were quite successful getting Kenneth Arrow of Stanford, a Nobel laureate, to sign on, and then got a famous economist whose name I can't remember, Santa Cruz, to sign on, Jack Hirschleifer and UCLA to sign on. And I tried to get Milton Friedman being the grand pusher of markets. And he read the text too closely and said, this is about conserving a river, this isn't about... And I said, well, it's about both.
The measure ended up being endorsed by most major newspapers in the state, which is unusual, which suggests that its value was really pretty significant. It lost at the polls in 1982 in November, largely because of water interests putting a lot of money against it.
Yes.
But it had this great promise of reworking how we do water in the state, which now we would be great to have, obviously, in hindsight.
No, we've had many efforts to introduce water markets since. There is some water trading now, but it's relatively insignificant. And those who promote it say, oh, this is great, this is wonderful, but it's still relatively insignificant. But that was environmentalists trying to save the economy.
And with economists banding together of considerable note, which is unusual.
Yes.
And that was landmark.
Yes.
So, thank you.